Welcome to Let Happen, Saskatchewan's showcase of the literary talent of the province. We are out on location today at the Holiday Inn, and it feels terrific to be here. It's so bright and positive, and it's probably a good atmosphere for Sheila Bautz, my guest today. Sheila, welcome to the show.
Thanks for inviting me, Wes.
I'm really happy you're here. We've been trying to get you here for a while, so super that you're here.
I'm very excited to be here. Thanks.
Now we're going to talk about a few aspects of your career, but what I really want to get out to the viewers today is this book of yours, because it's got such a powerful message. Give us a little rundown of this little gem, Sheila.
Well, walking the Cutline when companies kill, I always say I never intended to write that book. It actually came on me. I wrote fantasy, poetry, that sort of thing. My late husband was killed in a work-related death, which before he died I vowed that if anything should ever happen to him, because we were aware of the work-related deaths and you never heard of them at that time in 2000 and before that I would do everything in my power to find out the truth and expose the truth, that I would never let him become just a statistic or a number.
Wow.
So he died January 12th, 2000 in the Rocky Mountains. And as soon as he passed away, after the first night of initial shock, I wrote my favorite quote on a sticky note by Albert Einstein, which is, unthinking respect for authority is the greatest enemy of truth.
Wow.
And from there I did the investigation. Against all odds.
It must have been quite a journey for you to relive a lot of memories when you were penning this, because I know what it's like with my own career, what it's like.
Yes, yes. And you know, I consider it a memoir and a true crime, sub-genre, white-collar crime. My goal, when I finally realized I should write the story, was actually about, I guess it would have been about 5 years after his death. I had finished the investigation. I had taken my tub of evidence, which I had gathered slowly over that time, and attained 2 out of 3 impossible things, which lawyers and everybody said was impossible, which I get into in the book. I include evidence in the book, the actual documentation. But a lawyer who's seen it, because you can't pursue private prosecution in Canada. In the United States you can, but not in Canada. So he looked at me and he said, "You're a writer." He couldn't believe I had obtained a smoking gun, which is a direct admission of fault. On company letterhead was the final piece of evidence I did attain. He said, "Write your story. Don't let all this evidence and everything go to waste." So I wrote it as raw and real in the moment. Who I was then, at the time, no sugarcoating anything. To keep it pure, I also journaled while I was going through the investigation. So yeah, some of those pages, it took quite a while.
It would take a lot of courage.
Yes, and I mean to expose myself, because you know what, people consider your personality flaws were actually my assets on this journey. So, you know, everything has a positive and a negative. Right.
So how do you feel now that this is out into the world and such a big part of you is exposed?
I've always believed in being transparent. Yeah. Because when you're transparent, nobody can come at you with anything. What it felt like was the elders, and I write about that right in the introduction, state that they believe when you retell a story, you release the power of its spirit. And that's exactly, I don't know how else to describe it. Once it was released, I felt like I had carried these tablets of a promise I made to my late husband. I mean, it took me, 13, 14 years, 15, we're now 15 years. Yeah. And it's gaining popularity. I've been invited more and more places to speak about it. Nice. It's very freeing, very healing. Healing, that's a great, that's a theme that seems to come up a lot on this show. So that's good. Good on you. So this is just one corner of your career. You kind of encompass a broad spectrum of things. You're a freelance writer as well. Can you just touch on that a bit for us? Well, I began writing, or I've always been a writer. I had a bit of a spell there, and I'm working on another book that will expose some of that, so I won't speak about that right now. Okay. But yeah, with Post Media, I was and I still am. I just renewed my contract in January. Freelancing with the Leader Post and the Saskatoon Star Phoenix. It's all freelance assignments, so I'm free to freelance for whoever. I'm working on other articles, and I've had a lot of my articles across Canada, National Post they've appeared in, and throughout the world. So yeah, multi-genre.
Great. I always love hearing that on here.
Yeah. I believe in diversity too.
Yeah.
And your mind, I think, is always busy too, Wes.
Yes.
So you understand that, you know, I've got a fantasy manuscript going. I have a historical manuscript I started about, I'd say about 100. Yeah, I'm going back into historical here now. That was started, that was prior to 2000, 2001, and she's been sitting waiting for me. I have that in rough draft. Then I have the artwork and the poetic prose. This, you know, is finished. Now I'm doing the, you know, talking and whoever calls me.
I think that's important. As creative people, we need to just keep our irons in many fires.
And it does. And do you find it interlinks?
Yes, usually it feels, it's all coming towards something.
Yes, because I know when I've written articles for, let's say, the Leader Post app, it'll spark an idea, and I'll go, whoop, okay, we'll put that over here in the fiction and fantasy, and ooh, that's what that is. And you learn things, and then you go, whoop, and you go back here and you're writing the articles, and you know, and it all intermingles. It's all interconnected.
Yes.
Just like life.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
So it's,
wow, you have such a great energy about you.
I always loved your energy too. Yeah, likes right away.
Nice. Now, this little guy, where can viewers find it around the province?
Right now, I'm attending book signings throughout the province. I'm going into Alberta with it. An individual who I've known, she lives in Alberta, wants to book a tour for me this summer there. As well as McNally Robinson is carrying it.
Resource,
Yes, and Indigo right now in Saskatoon.
Super.
I'll be carrying it into Regina, and just it's trickling. Of course, I can sell. You know, I have copies as well.
Yes.
So it's.
What's your website address?
It's www.sheilabautz.net.
Nice.
I used to say com, but I was wrong. I built the website.
That's a common thing.
Yeah.
And you probably have a social media platform like so many other writers.
Yes, Google, definitely I'm on Google. YouTube, I have uploaded some videos. I'll be uploading some book trailers.
Okay.
I like to have fun, so I have also sassy songs and different energy, depending how I'm writing.
Nice.
You know, sayings. Also Facebook, author Sheila Bautz. Yeah.
Great.
So,
and it's not an ebook at this point, but you were saying it probably will be soon.
Yes, I did have it initially as an ebook.
Yeah.
I pulled it. I'm a perfectionist.
Yeah.
And I caught some things
Glitches.
that I wanted to work on and then relaunch again.
Okay.
You know how it is as a writer too. Sometimes you think you're getting 5 steps ahead, and all of a sudden,
yes,
and then you got to do other things. So yeah, she will be relaunched as also an ebook, and CBC. I'll be in contact with them through advice of other individuals I met while I was in Toronto. So who knows where this story potentially will go. So yeah.
I'm glad the story has legs because it has such a powerful message and theme. So.
And you know, considering it was I obtained a lot of the information and evidence on my intuition, strictly gut instincts, that inner drive. You know, even my family, my community, and that said, "Who are you? You're a nobody. You can't. What are you going to do?" And I was laughed at.
Yeah.
Word has it, they're not laughing so much anymore.
Yeah.
And actually, while I was doing what I was doing, this was the other thing. A lot of men who work in the rigs have come to my family now and said, "We want a copy of this book."
Wow.
Because they said whatever I was doing, they want to read about it because it was changing policy, and I had no clue at the time. Regulations were being changed, things were being adapted, wages increased, I've been told, after Dean's death, and I had rocked the boat as hard as I could. It's a small town Saskatchewan girl, and I'm very proud of that.
Yeah.
So the ripple effects, we don't know sometimes. Okay?
I'm glad.
Yeah.
Well, I know we're out of time, but I just want to say that it was a real gift to talk to you today. So
Thank you. Wes. Thank you.
Such a great energy.
Well, thank you.
Really enjoy it.
Yes.
That's all the time we have today for Lit Happens. If you enjoyed today's episode, you can see previous segments on Shaw TV or on my website, westfunk.ca, and you can connect with us online on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. So I'll see you next time on Lit Happens.